What's up guys, welcome back to the video, and in today's video we're going to be talking through my minimalist setup when I'm using my Blackmagic 6K on the gimbal. So I've had the Weebill S for about 2 months now, and I really do like this gimbal. Now I went through a ton of different gimbals trying to figure out what the best gimbal was for the type of shoots that I do. But whenever you're running around and you're going to be shooting for a long time, you don't want to be carrying a big gimbal like that, and so I looked into getting the Weebill S. So with that being said, I already knew that I was going to run into a few different issues. The first issue being the battery life on the Blackmagic 6K. The battery life does suck, and if you're going to upgrade to the Blackmagic 6K Pro, you do have better battery life because you have those MPF batteries, which are a little bit bigger. You can also get this type of mount that goes on the bottom of the camera that allows you to use multiple different batteries. However, in today's video, we're still working with the Blackmagic 6K, which is an incredible camera. And by the way, with the Pro coming out, I'm sure that you can find this guy online for very low prices because everyone wants to upgrade right now. So the first thing that I did to upgrade my battery solution was to go into an external setup where I have my battery attached to the gimbal like you see in the video. Having a setup like this makes it super easy to swap these batteries out on a shoot. Just charge a few of them. They give you quite a bit of shooting time. I've been happy to say that I've only actually made it through one battery one time while shooting 6K at the highest setting I can, and on other times I'm shooting at 120 HD. And so I'm able to kind of maximize what I can get out of the battery life on the 6K because the Canon batteries aren't really that great on this camera. But for the most part, I'm able to take 2 batteries with me and I feel comfortable on a shoot depending on how long it is. So next we have the balancing of the camera, which can be quite difficult, and it's probably why you're watching this video today because the Blackmagic 6K just has such a weird body to balance on gimbals. So with that being said, I'll actually show you guys exactly how I balance this gimbal. There is one part that you need to get, and I will leave a link below in the description to that part. And as you can see on the screen, it is this counterweight. It comes with 2 weights. They're 100 grams is what I'm using. I have 2 100-gram weights and I'm putting it on the side to kind of balance out the gimbal. Now one very important thing to note about that is the way you place this weight on the gimbal. The way I placed it allows me to still come over the camera and get those kind of overhead low shots without bumping the top of the camera into the counterweight. And so placing it in this very specific area allows you to kind of bypass that issue, and you're able to still use your camera and your gimbal to its full capabilities. So today I'm using a different plate, but it shouldn't make too much of a difference for you guys. But with this plate attached to the camera, I have it as far up on the camera as it can go towards the lens so that I could balance it, you know, pretty good and even because the front of the camera is the most heavy. And so with that, we're gonna attach that to our gimbal. And then the first step that I go through is balancing the tilt. So we're gonna unlock the gimbal like that. And you can see that I'm actually kind of a little bit top heavy right now. So I'm just gonna slide that back just like that. And you're just gonna repeat this process until you can hold it and it stays. Now with the Blackmagic 6K on this gimbal, I've never been able to actually have it to where it is perfect. It always kind of falls over, but as you can see right now, the gimbal isn't locked at all, and I'm able to leave it just like it is, and it's not moving at all. And so that's what you want to get to. Now I'm going to lock that axis, and the next step is we're going to balance this way. And this is probably where you're going to have most of the issues because the side of the camera is very heavy. Now I do want to note that I am not using a battery on this balance right here. So it may be a little bit different for you if you use a battery, but because I'm using an external power source, I don't need that in the camera. But if any of you guys have a Blackmagic 6K and you know of a reason why you still need to have the battery in the camera, let me know in the comment section below. But to my understanding, there's no reason to still have the battery in the gimbal. It just adds extra weight. Now I should have said this at the beginning of the balance, but you want to make sure that you have everything that you're going to be attaching to the camera already attached, whether that's a SD card or storage, any type of storage you're going to do. You want to have that already attached to the camera to evenly balance out the gimbal. Again, you want to make sure that that weight is placed right there, and for the most part I usually go ahead and I slide this guy right here, which is the bottom. I'm going to actually unlock this so you can see this part right here. I slide it all the way over to the side because most of the time you're going to have to do that because, again, the way that the Blackmagic 6K is built. So with that all the way to the side, I'm going to lock this back right quick. you then just want to tilt it, come back this way until you get balanced. So right there you can actually see that I came over this way too much. So if you're looking at the back of the screen, I came to my right too much. So I need to go back over to my left just a little bit, and again, you just want to repeat this process until you have your camera balanced, just like that. Now again, I don't have this axis locked, and I don't even have the actual thing locked down right now, so but it's not moving, and so that's what you want. So next we're gonna move on to this axis right here. And now to do this, I don't know officially what the right way to do it is. The way that I learned is from the DJI gimbals, and so you just want to make sure that your foot is poked straight out. And then what I usually do is I first obviously unlock this, and you just want to tilt the camera to one side, and if it swings like that, that means that you need to go the opposite way, just like that. You want it to do it both ways. So if I go the other way, I want it to stay right where it is like that, so it's not moving at all. So now we're balanced. The last thing that I do for the balancing of this camera is I just go into the settings, and then I do an auto tune. You can also do that from your phone through the app, and that just kind of, you know, fine tunes the motors to the camera's weight and different things like that. So now let's talk about the camera specifically and the things that I'm going to be using with the camera to make this setup work. First off, I'm going to be using a wide angle lens. I actually went for the widest angle I can find because I'm not going to be pulling focus too much. So if I have my subject framed, I'm just going to be walking, you know, from one side to the other. I don't have to worry about pulling focus because for the most part, it's going to be pretty good because everything is in focus. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be pretty good. Now the reason why I'm saying that is because usually if you watch most YouTubers talk about the Blackmagic 6K on a gimbal, they have their focus set up on here so they can use this dial. But again, I'm going for a minimalist setup because I'm going to be holding this guy for a long time. I usually have my aperture down as low as it can go, still letting in all that light, using ND filters on the front and etc. So instead of using a SSD on this camera, I'm actually using a CFast card because that allows me to balance the gimbal a lot better without that, you know, rigging of the SSD on here. And so this is more expensive. You're able to get these cards, they're kind of like an off-brand. You're able to get these for about $120, and that's for 256 gigabytes. But again, being able to run and gun with this setup with these SD cards, to me it's a good trade-off because I'm able to run around with such a small setup, and the only thing that I have to do is use CFast cards in exchange for not using the SSD. I mean, can't beat that. I'm trying to think through any other little things for this camera that you guys may want to know. So I guess I can talk about the mounting on the back. The way that I mounted the battery is through this little small HD mount. You can buy them online. Overall, I don't have any jitter issues at all with this camera, zero at all, which is great because I remember trying to balance this guy with the cage and the SSD and all those different things on it on an RS2 and had all types of crazy issues on all the other gimbals. And so I decided that if I'm going to have to strip down this camera quite a bit to use it, I might as well go ahead and get a smaller gimbal, and I'm happy with the Weebill S. I think you can get this gimbal online for around $250 compared to the other gimbals being $500, so that's not bad at all for a setup like this. So with that being said, that's all that I have for this video today. I hope I covered everything. If you guys have any questions, please come and talk to me in the comment section below. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.